Pascal. You are now rocking with that dude Pascal. We be going wild, Haitian in the building, so original. Got the haters catching feelings. Get your hands up to the ceiling and keep them held high, cause St. Louis is ready. Forget about it, goodbye. Hold on, we just saying hi. Five somebody, rise up weekdays. Catch us live, somebody, let's go.
Good afternoon. Good evening and good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Pascal Show. Hope you guys all doing well out there. Hope this show finds you in great spirits, because another day above the dirt is always a blessing. Let's not forget that. We got some things we got to get into, some breaking news. Not the greatest of news, to be completely honest. I know that this is going to obviously anger and upset a lot of people. I'm not going to hold you guys for too long. This is not going to be a super epic long show this afternoon, but I will be back. I definitely will be back this evening to talk about more things, unless something pops off and then, like, while we're live, then we'll talk about it. We'll be here for this too, but we do have some breaking news, so I want to share that with you guys again here. This is absolutely crazy, so please do me a favor. Are we back to the drawing board again? For like that, I don't even know how many times, like the umpteenth time. I think we're back at the drawing board all over again. Okay, I know that those are my favorite and famous last words, but really, this one's not going to be a epically long show. I guarantee you that. But still, are we back at this all over again? Back at the drawing board all over again? There's something that I'm like, what? Let me explain. Before we get into it, though, please do me a solid. Hit that like button down below. Crush it. Do what it do. Hit that reaction button if you're watching on these other platforms. If you are watching on these other platforms like Facebook, X/Twitter, and Instagram, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch, Kick, I'm on all of them. So make sure you hit that follow button. Follow. Please and thank you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button here on my YouTube channel. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload, because it is random. Hit that join button down below, become a member, check out my Patreon, and of course, check out PascalMerch.com. PascalMerch.com, we got some really great stuff over there. PascalMerch.com. Okay, guys, this is absolutely nuts. This is nuts. Here's the thing. Okay, remember a few days ago where they stumbled upon a glove. It all starts quaint little town, and the glove that brought the whole town together. Actually, I'm sorry, it's not like that, but you remember the glove that was found a couple days ago? And then they were like, we're gonna run it for test. And then FBI's like, why don't we take over and take it to Quantico? And then we can run it through the database and we can make sure we could do such and such and such and such, right? And then, Sheriff Nanos is like, no, we ain't doing that. We taking it over to a privately owned testing facility out in Florida. That's what we gonna do. Well, we ain't gonna do nothing about, what are you talking about? You taking over the glove. No. We taking that glove, right? Because apparently there was some male DNA on the glove. And they said that they were gonna run it through a database called CODIS. I don't know what the acronym stands for. I'm sure it will be explained in a little bit. But nonetheless, this database explains or has names of all kinds of people, convicted killers to everybody, right? That have their DNA in this particular system, right? And they're supposed to run that in that system. So now we've been waiting for that moment, because yesterday we were like, wait a second, they didn't put it through any system yet. Remember, as of late in the evening, they hadn't put it into any database at all, the DNA that they found. They said, yep, looks like male DNA, indeed. Glove found 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home. Dag nabbit, it's a male. It could, and it's black, and that glove be black. So, and it closely matches the gloves that the master assailant was wearing in the security cam footage. So now we got a man, black glove. Now all we got to do is run it through CODIS. And we just going to see what happens. We're going to see what it do. They hadn't even put it in there yet. And you know, this whole thing is time of an essence. Am I right or am I right? So they apparently finally did do that. And now we got some new info. Breaking news. We're going to look at a bunch of things here in a second because there's other articles talking about this. Like, what the fuck? It's so crazy. Okay. But according to Michael Ruiz, and of course, there's other people who are talking about this as well. Okay. Other articles, other news outlets are talking about this because this just broke within the last 40 minutes or so. Okay. So this ain't breaking. I'll just blow this up so you guys can see this a little bit better because I know some of you guys are looking at this on an iPhone 4. No shade. No shade. Okay. They're relics at this point, those iPhone 4s. All right. But here it is. Breaking. Sheriff Nanos just told Fox News' Jonathan Hunt that the DNA sample from the Nancy Guthrie case has been run through the FBI database and did not have a match. The unknown DNA from inside the house is also not a match for DNA found on a glove considered a possible match to one worn by the suspect in the doorbell video. The FBI confirms the sheriff's statement. So IgG could come into play next. Okay, so again, they said that they ran it through the FBI database, did not find a match. Now, they're also saying the DNA that was found inside the house is also not a match for the DNA that was found on the glove. So the DNA that was found on the glove, let me just say this so we are in plain English, all right? The DNA that was found 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's house, that DNA on that glove does not match the DNA that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's house. Now, two things could be possible. One, the glove has nothing to do with this case. There it is. Okay, guys, thanks so much. That's the show. Thank you guys so much for showing up, being a part of the show. I know I told you guys it would be short. I'm kidding. But here it is. One thing could be true. Two things could be true. That the glove found 2 miles away from Nancy's home ain't connected to this at all. Or there are two individuals. And one of the guys that actually stole, or kidnapped and abducted Nancy Guthrie got very excited about the crime they just committed and threw out one glove out the window in celebration. Like I said, and he just threw it out the window. We did it, brother. We did it. And he just threw that black glove out the window in jubilation, in exuberance, in an absolute throes of elation. That's the other possibility. So there's two different possibilities. One, the glove that was on the street down the road, 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie, has nothing to do with this case. Or it was a second person with the masked person in the doorbell footage that just felt like he just had to express himself by littering with glee. Like I said, and he just threw it out. So here's the thing. We back at square one already. Now, what's interesting now, though, too, is that there's more. There's more. Let's get into this, okay? Because according to TMZ, I know everybody gets in their fifis about TMZ, all right? But according to TMZ, they're saying
people think that those that are overweight just lack self-control.
Dear Lord. Okay. They're saying that the glove now has to be retested back in Arizona. I'm not kidding. The glove has to go back. Dear Lord, with all these freaking pop-ups, mang. The glove has to go back, y'all, to the state in which the crime was committed in and be retested over there as well. Yeah. So the glove currently, this is the level of like what the F is going on. The glove is in Florida right now. It just got tested. Came back. It took a DNA test. Turns out it has nothing to do with this crime, allegedly. Right? Sorry, little Lizzo there. But it's in Florida right now. It's not like they're like, it's all good. We need to take this across town to another facility and run the test there. Oh, no. What it has to do now, it has to jump onto a plane and fly all the way back over to Arizona so that the FBI can run tests in Arizona and then rerun it in their own FBI CODIS system, because legally they can't process anything unless, like, they can't process it in an out-of-state facility. It has to be tested in the facility, in a facility in the state in which the crime occurred. What in the F is going on here? So now we got to wait a whole 24 hours plus for them to go through what we already know is the result now. Let's be real. I'm assuming that the privately owned facility that Nanos sent this glove to is probably a pretty good place, knows what they're doing, right? So they came back with the results saying there's no match. No glove, no match. No match, cabron, the glove. No match, cabron, no match, the glove, no match. That's what they're saying right now. They've ran it through systems. They've ran it through databases. Came up with nothing. Bupkis. Male DNA, though. Black glove. But nothing. Now they got to take it after they did all that. Because that was two days? Wait, 2-3 days? Something like that? Where they send it over to Florida? Now that damn thing needs to get on a plane and fly all the way back over to Arizona so that they can retest this stuff again. Yeah, bupkis. Zippity doodah. Nothing. Not a damn ting, do. Not a damn ting. Let's take a look at this. Crazy. Okay? Like, I get it. We all want her to be found, but at this point, what Nanos said, where he said it could be years, he might be right, which is insane. Remember? Could be hours, could be weeks, could be months, could be years till we find her. You never know, right? Now I'm starting to think, like, if it keeps moving in this type of pattern, in this type of way, we're screwed. We are screwed. Or, this investigation is screwed. And the Guthrie family is screwed. So let's take a look at this. Okay. First off, in the update, the sheriff has announced there's no DNA hit from CODIS. Okay. The glove authorities found 2 miles away from Nancy Guthrie's home has been tested, DNA tested in Florida. But there's still another step before the DNA profile can be entered into the CODIS system, sources with direct knowledge. So under federal law, okay, so again, they ran it in their own CODIS system, all right? Now the feds have to put it into their own CODIS system, but they can't put it into that CODIS system until it is tested in the state where it was found. So in this case, Arizona. Remember, glove is in Florida right now. Let me repeat that again. Glove is in Florida. And here's the other thing. And maybe this is a dumb question. Probably is going to be a dumb question because I already know somebody would be like, yeah, that's dumb, Pascal. If you were only FBI, you would know standard procedure, you dumbass. Let me tell you something really quick. Okay. I'm just a guy on a microphone and I got questions, but let me ask this really quick. Okay. before y'all come out with all the hate and shade. Let me just say this. So when it comes to the FBI, why couldn't they have just given the glove to the FBI in the first damn place and let them run it in Arizona and just cut out all this middleman rigmarole that we're looking at? You see all the hoops that we're jumping through? Do you see how many hoops that this glove is jumping through? Is anybody else seeing what I'm seeing? Couldn't the FBI just been like, wait a second, you know what? To cut.
I always wanted to go skydiving, but I was over the 250-pound weight limit.
My husband would take the kids.
Really want me to lose weight. Wow. That makes me feel really bad. Wow. What is TMZ trying to tell me? I didn't press anything. But here it is. Would it be a situation where the FBI said they're going like, hey, let's just cut out all the red tape crap, all the hoops we got to jump through. We'll just test it here in Arizona. We'll cut out all that middle stuff just in case, because we're both working this together. And I would think that the same system that has all the, maybe, I don't know, what the FBI has in their CODIS system, you'd think that that system can work or works for both departments, right? So now they're going to take that glove, which I don't think has anything to do with this at all. I really don't. They're going to take it back to Arizona and they're going to run tests on that doggone glove again. So we're all sitting around at the edge of our seats as they're sitting there twiddling their thumbs, waiting for the microwave timer to go off. Do you see what I'm saying? When we should have already been out here trying to find her or going after bigger leads than this. You know what I mean? I don't know what the hell is going on with this. It's on crack. Shut up. But you get what I'm saying, though, right? Pretty frustrating stuff. So our sources say the glove has already been sent back to Arizona. Okay, great. As for why the Pima County Sheriff decided to send the glove to Florida in the first place, knowing the glove would have to be retested in Arizona, our sources say they have no idea. Mind you, this is the same dude, this is the same sheriff that just said recently that, hey, by the way, the family's been cleared. She's been cleared. They've been cleared for a minute. Now. But in the interviews, he said they haven't been cleared. He didn't technically say it out loud, right? Interesting, right? They've been cleared. But then in recent interviews, a few days ago, to be exact, he's like, no, they're not. They're cooperating with us. They're grieving. They're going through some crazy stuff, which I understand they are. But he didn't say that they were cleared. But then we find out that later, which I'm going to have to find, but he said that he cleared the family. The family was cleared just a few days after she went missing. So how could we really believe everything that's coming out of Sheriff Nanos' face at this point? So continuing on, we're told the type of DNA testing, a PCR test, typically only takes a day to get results. Our sources say the process should go quickly, and there should be results from CODIS in the next 24 hours or maybe sooner. There are almost 27 million DNA profiles in the CODIS system. That's a lot of people. We're also told the glove in question is not the glove photographed by the New York Post, the one that we've all seen. They're saying that glove ain't connected to that. It's a completely different glove that they found, guys. It's a different glove that the authorities found. And there's more information. As NewsNation first reported, law enforcement has given some gun shops has given some gun shops in the Tucson area, around 40 names to determine if any of those people bought a gun like the one the presumed kidnapper was photographed holstering, his pistol on his pistol as he approached Nancy's door. As for how these those 40 names were selected, we're told authorities have identified the type of holster the man was wearing. And they have found around 40 people in the area who actually purchased that item. And finally this. We are not going to talk about the man who sent us various demand letters asking for $100,000 in Bitcoin in return for the identity of the kidnapper and the location of Nancy. If he gives us the information, we will immediately forward it to the FBI. Okay, we already know all about that. But ain't that interesting that we are now hearing that glove has nothing on it that would pertain to the connection of anyone, any criminal being involved in the kidnapping or abduction of Nancy Guthrie. I find that to be very interesting. And I'll be honest, disheartening. Disheartening is all get out. This is not what we want to hear. Not at all. It is not what we want to hear. Not right now. But let's listen to Harvey from TMZ.
We have some developments in the Nancy Guthrie kidnapping case. First of all, the testing of that glove, the DNA testing in Florida, is complete. Now, that doesn't answer the questions about whose DNA is it and are they connected to this kidnapping? Because under federal law, the glove has to be tested in the state where the glove is found. That is the requirement that the FBI has before they can put it in the CODIS system. CODIS is Combined DNA Intake System. That has 27 million DNA profiles. And in order to check out the DNA in that system, in the CODIS system, the glove has to be tested in the state where it was found, and that is Arizona. That glove, we're told, is in Arizona right now. This is called a PCR test. It's the most sophisticated DNA test. It's the gold standard. Usually takes just a day to get the results. We are told that in the next 24 hours, once that glove is tested and the results are in, that profile will go into the CODIS system. So that should be resolved within 24 hours and maybe sooner. Now, we are also told, and I think this is really interesting, that the glove that was tested is not the glove that the New York Post found. It is a different glove.
Okay, and it's great that we understand more clarity about the glove not being the glove that the New York Post took a photograph of and all that. But at the same time, damn, it doesn't make a difference. It doesn't change anything because at the end of the day, they found 16 plus gloves strewn about in the area. A lot of them were from investigators that were out there combing the area, trying to find any clues for Nancy. They zeroed this down. They find one black glove that has male DNA that is not matched to any of these investigators involved in this case. And then there's a power struggle. There's a power struggle on who is actually going to lead in, having their department do the DNA results, the DNA testings, right? There's a full-on argument between that, or, there's a tug of war, if you will. And I already know Nanos was like, no, it's not like that. It's not like that. We're all working together. Everything's good. Everything's Gucci. We're doing just fine, right? Us and FBI are working together in sweet harmony. That's not true. That's not true. Because if this was a situation where you had everything going in a very wonderfully copacetic way, you would have had no problem going over there and saying, hey, you know what? Yeah, actually, you guys are the FBI. Yeah, run that ish. Run that. Go ahead. Run that real quick. You got faster technology than us. Go ahead, run that ish. Go ahead. And they didn't. They ended up sending it all the way out to You see what I'm saying? I don't understand all this backwards, this whole way of working here. I got a massive problem with it. It's so strange, right? It is so strange. sorry, but something is just not right. And how they're doing everything is so backwards.
So up to this point, everybody, and really us included, we assumed that was the glove. We are now told by people connected to this, it is not the glove. It is a different glove that authorities found 2 miles from Nancy's house.
Again, I'm sorry, no disrespect to Harvey. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, Melody. You are not the father. And, you know, dudes dancing up on the stage doing backflips and everything. I told you, right? Maury Povich, he's still doing that same gig, by the way. Random, right? But when it comes to this whole, it's not the same glove, it doesn't matter. At this point, it doesn't matter. Okay? At some point, we're going to find out that this is not connected in any way, shape, or form to anything. Wait for it. Yes, it's male DNA, but it may not be connected to anybody at all. And also, who says, here's the other thing. If it is even remotely possible that this glove is connected, then that means that this person's not done any crimes. Put that in your bonnet. Put that bee in your bonnet for a second. You see what I'm saying? Put that in your bee. Put that bee in your bonnet. Put that, whatever. Put that bee in your bonnet, okay? For 2 seconds. And think about it. That means that person's never done a crime. Which would make sense, because if what we're seeing how that guy's operating, he clearly sucks. He's clearly an amateur. So maybe this is his first time. Or maybe this is his 4th time and he's never been caught. If that glove is connected to this whole crime, which I don't think it is. I don't think it's connected at all. But that's just me, though.
Now, something else that we have learned. There are stories out there that gun shops have been given around 40 names of people that the FBI wanted to check to see if people bought a certain type of gun, namely the gun that was in the holster of the presumed kidnapper. We told you this is a semi-automatic handgun. So what we found out is that they have already checked out the holster to see who has bought a similar holster in that area. And the names that were given to the gun shops are people who actually bought that type of holster. And it's not like those people are all people of interest, but what they want to find is, did somebody both buy a holster like that and buy a gun like that? And then all of a sudden, they're going to be real interested in that person. So that is why the FBI is checking out gun shops in that area. Final thing I want to say is that the man who has been sending us emails demanding to know and demanding money in return for information leading to the identity of the kidnapper.
Okay, and we already know all that crap. Okay, we don't need to. we don't need to hear all about that. He's just basically saying like, hey, our offer still stands. If you want to do something about it, let us know. Blah blah blah. Okay, but let us continue on. Okay, there is something I'm interested about because there's something going on with. It looks like something's going on over at JLR. So let's take a look at this. I don't know what's going on. I'm trying to find out what's going on here. But
all right, so we got some action. 2 people went in back of the house with a briefcase. I just saw the footage.
Somewhere, something's going on.
They're blocking it.
Yeah. No glow. Another glow? No glow. No glow, cabron. No glow. What could this all mean? Sorry, Katie. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. So sorry. Something's going on. What it is, I don't know. What it is, though.
2 men have entered Nancy Guthrie's home with a briefcase.
That's interesting. Thank you, JLR, for explaining that.
Yeah, they definitely blocked.
Two men with briefcases walked into Nancy Guthrie's home. For what reason, we do not know. But something seems like something's brewing.
Well, Aaron, we actually just saw two unmarked vehicles. One had kind of been here for a little bit, but we saw them originally out front, but then they pulled to the back. Now we saw one man who was not in the uniform. We don't know exactly who he was going to the FBI or any. We are not sure, but we did see him get out of his car. He did have like a black briefcase, and he did go into the backyard with the back gate.
A black briefcase.
So we are, of course, waiting to see what exactly is going on here. But that actually was just happening just minutes ago. But in other news, we did get an update from the Sheriff's Department on the.
Yes, Ashley on Facebook. Yes, this is right now. This is all happening right now. I'm going to check with Brian Ensign to see if he said anything, because let me mute this for a second. I don't think you understand how many times I've been refreshing Brian Ensign's not his Instagram, sorry, his YouTube and his X, like just repost, like refresh, just to see if there's anything else, if there's any updates. So I've been waiting for some sort of development of some sort, right? Of some kind. Yeah. So hold on. We got, and yes, I know like Megyn Kelly just did an interview with him or something like that. So we got to take a look at that. All right.
Something is going on back there.
Clearly. Huh.
We do know that in that update at the same time, investigators are attempting to locate.
So I'm going to mute this really quick so I can show this to y'all. This is interesting. And thank you, Rhea, for sending this my way. But apparently Michael Ruiz just said this. Update. Sounds like they compared the DNA samples but haven't run the DNA from inside against CODIS yet. Now, if that's true, that would be really wild. That'd be some sloppy, slow-ass, dragging your knuckles type of work. You feel me? So the DNA that was submitted to CODIS was from the set of gloves found 2 miles away. It did not trigger a match in CODIS and did not match DNA found at the property. The DNA found at the property is being analyzed, and further testing needs to be done as part of the investigation. So they haven't done as much investigation or testing with the DNA that was found inside the crime scene. I'm about to have a stroke. I swear to God, there ain't enough beet juice in this lifetime. Like what in the what is going on? I can't help but chuckle. You know what I'm saying? You mean to tell me all this time you had this DNA just sitting on the desk and you ain't even run it yet in the CODIS? It's somebody's DNA That was inside. This ain't 2 miles away from Nancy's home. This was inside Nancy's home. Like, word. Come on. That is that real? Is that for real? Because if that's true, oh my dear. Oh, Jesus. That would just be That can't be real. That can't be real. It's got to be lies. It's got to be. There's no way. No way.
I know, it's true. That's well, that's what everyone's saying. It's interesting because that was huge. Huge.
The fact that the
Yeah, they were taking the sheriff's truck out.
Okay. Well, let me not pause that. I'm going to mute that really quick because we need to hear this. Because this is interesting. Oh, wait. False alarm. I want to see what he's doing.
Can I scoot right here between? Awesome, thanks, Dan. What do you guys look like first? Oh, okay.
Okay. Don't worry, I'll rewind it if I have to. Let's take a look at this.
So you don't
This is an interview with the sheriff.
believe it was a burglary gone wrong? Is that what you're saying?
I believe it was a kidnapping.
All new at 2, Fox News going one-on-one with the Pima County Sheriff, Chris Nanos, as the search for Nancy Guthrie intensifies and investigators zero in on key leads. Welcome to a brand new hour of America Reports. I'm John Roberts. Thank you for filling in this week.
You are most welcome, John. The bill will come later in the week, so look out for that in the mail. It's great to be with you.
The check will be in the mail.
No, thank you. I look forward to receiving it. I'm Jillian Turner in for Sandra today. So this interview now with all these breaking developments come as the sheriff has also been saying that the entire Guthrie family is cleared from this investigation. They are not suspects. We're also getting new details on investigators working directly with Walmart, trying to trace the exact items that the suspect was seen wearing on camera. Let's get straight to Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt now, who just sat down with the sheriff for this exclusive interview. Jonathan, lay it out for us. What did you learn?
Sorry, I need to pause that really quick. Why did they have to do that guy dirty like that? Look at this photo. Look at him over here on the far right of the screen. They're like, we had an interview with Sheriff Nanos, and that's the photo that they chose to use. Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. That's not a moving pic. Like that ain't a video. That's just that is the thumbnail they decided to use of Sheriff Nanos. Come on. Come on.
Chief Correspondent Jonathan Hunt now, who just sat down
shady as hell.
with the sheriff.
They doing
for
him
this
dirty.
Interview. Jonathan, lay it out for us. What did you learn?
Hamburger.
A lot of breaking news out of this interview, Gillian and John. The sheriff had just come from the latest briefing on this investigation. And I asked him, first of all, about the glove that we've all heard about, the glove that on which they had found DNA, which was being tested and was going to then be entered into the FBI's CODIS system, which is the national tracking system for DNA that they might have from people who have committed crimes in the past. His answer to that, not good news for the investigation. Listen here to the sheriff.
The DNA on the glove that was found 2 miles away was submitted for CODIS, and I just heard that CODIS had no hits.
No hits on the DNA found in the glove.
Correct.
So you are no closer to a suspect as a result of the DNA test, at least.
As a result of CODIS.
Now, remember also, we broke the news last Friday that they had tested also DNA that was found inside Nancy Guthrie's house that they believed was stranger DNA. Well, the sheriff also told us no CODIS hit on that DNA either. Then I talked to him about this reporting that has been out there, not repeated by us, that this was a burglary gone wrong. The sheriff said it was not. Listen again to the sheriff.
You just said you, and your briefings, you believe it's a kidnapping.
I believe it was a kidnapping.
Targeted kidnapping.
Yes, I believe whoever did that knew what they were up to.
So do you believe
knew who they were after?
So we also talked to the sheriff about these reports of the FBI going to gun stores. They have indeed been going to gun stores, but there was a report out there that they had narrowed it down essentially to 40 suspects they were asking about and showing pictures of. Here's the sheriff's response to that.
Tell me this if you can, Sheriff. Is everybody in Tucson still a suspect, or have you narrowed it down to, say, a few dozen people? We've heard, for instance, the FBI is asking about 40 people at gun stores.
That's not true.
Okay.
Why did I feel like he was about to be like, I have one question. Is everyone in Tucson a dumbass? Like I was just waiting for him to say something like that. Oh my word.
So have you narrowed it down to a few dozen, or are we
We haven't narrowed it down to anything other than we have certain pieces of evidence that we're looking at to try to find this individual, whether it be DNA, whether it be that ring camera video, whether it be evidence at a Walmart that might lead us to somebody.
Couple of other important points from this wide-ranging interview, John and Gillian. I asked the sheriff if there are any indications at all that Nancy Guthrie may have been taken across the border into Mexico, just about 65 miles or so south of us here. He said no indications of that. He said he believes the FBI has been checking that, but no indications of that at this point. And I followed up with him on the news that he put out a statement about yesterday, that clearing the Guthrie family, their siblings and spouses. He said to me, 100% they are victims, not connected. So a lot of news, but the bad news in terms of the investigation, that DNA, neither the DNA in the house or the DNA on the glove coming back with a hit on the FBI's national database. I hate to use the phrase back to square one, John and Gillian, but if we are talking about the squares that have been moved forward, we're certainly in the low single digits in terms of this investigation. John and Gillian?
I mean, it's also got to be pretty disappointing, for lack of a better word, for the family watching this to hear him say they haven't narrowed down the search to anybody, meaning no suspects right now.
Extraordinary, Gillian. When you talk to him, and you can feel the frustration in the sheriff. Obviously, he has come in for some criticism from some quarters, but I will say now, having got to know him a little bit over the last 16 days that we've been here, he is a man who wants to solve this crime, quite obviously. He has decades in law enforcement. There's Monday morning quarterbacking going on. Maybe some mistakes have been made. That's not for me to say. But this is a man who has a lot of compassion for the Guthrie family, really wants, just like every single law enforcement official on the ground here, they want to solve this case. But clearly, they are very frustrated, and clearly they are struggling to find out where Nancy Guthrie is and who took her.
So, Jonathan, here's something that a lot of folks I talk to are trying to wrap their head around. If this was not a robbery gone bad, if it was a kidnapping, but this idea that the ransom notes was a dead end, and we're not hearing anything from kidnappers. I mean, the object of kidnapping is you get something for the person that you've kidnapped. So what's this all about?
Well, that's an open question, John, and a very good question. I asked the sheriff about the ransom notes, and he said that is mainly an investigative lead for the FBI. Clearly, the ransom notes have not been ruled inauthentic or entirely authentic at this point. But the sheriff was quite adamant, not a burglary. I did ask him about, was anything taken at all? He said he couldn't talk about that. I asked him again about the forced entry or no forced entry. He wouldn't talk about that. And he said quite plainly, there are things we are not going to tell you because they are so germane to this investigation that they could compromise this investigation if we tell you. And as we've said throughout, John, they have every right to keep whatever information they want from us. But clearly, yeah, it's a struggle. But equally clearly, the sheriff believes in his gut. And I asked him his gut as a decades-long law enforcement officer what he thinks this is. And he said, I believe it is a kidnapping, not a burglary gone wrong.
This train ain't gonna stop. This is absolutely insane. Something's got to be figured out soon because this is just ridiculous. I'm rolling this back a little bit so we can see what just happened.
You're serious? I don't know.
Just pausing this really quick. Here's the other thing I want to know, because apparently they've been saying, somebody, the sheriff said that the family's been cleared, right? Everybody's been cleared. But then I hear other people saying that the FBI hasn't cleared the family. I don't know if that's true or not. That's the one thing I'm trying to figure out, whether or not that's true or not. Is there any proof of the feds actually saying out loud that the family has not been cleared? Because that's something I'm hearing through the grapevine, but I have yet to see any quote from that. So does anybody have that? I'm saying an actual source, not a podcaster, not just being said in a chat room. I mean, somebody who is actually coming out here and they're saying out loud, family is not cleared by the FBI yet. If anybody has that, please send it my way.
Got something out of the back of the truck. Oh, here he is. There he is. Where is he?
Interesting.
He's talking to the deputy. Coming out.
This is insane.
Who is it? Who is it? He's leaving. Zooming away. One down, one to go. Right now. West, right? Getting in fights.
Dang. It's like, you were in my shot, man. I didn't mean to. Figure it out, bro.
Camera spots. That was the one guy that was saying stuff to me about the fire truck. It was the same guy, the taller guy. I said it's every day. So you could be a troublemaker. I have a troublemaker here.
Close the road? Yeah. Like, how many people? There's too many people coming and go, all these neighbors, and it losing money.
And they all tired?
Oh, no, we would stay. I'm going to go in here. Thank you.
And they're all tired. Like, they've been there for days. Let's be real. Some of these people have been out there for 17 days straight. Okay. Just standing out there, filming everything, just stuck out there. Right. Let me see if we can see what's going on here. So yeah, nothing so far. Okay. But, let us continue on. This is just at this point, I'm really worried. Like, I'm really worried that things are if things are ever gonna get figured out. You know, like if there's ever going to be a crack in the case, you know, a break in the case, right? I don't know. With how everything's moving, I don't know about all that. I don't know. Like I said, they're taking the gloves from Florida, from the lab in Florida. They're bringing it back to Arizona so that it can be retested and then put back into the CODIS system to see if there's anything that the FBI can catch, right? So yeah, this is one huge cluster F. This whole thing is an absolute cluster F. It's not good. It's no bueno, guys. No bueno. Let me see about Brian Entin. I'm sure he's done some updates of some sort. Yep, he has. He has. So here's the thing. So he says DNA from the gloves found did not come back with a match in CODIS. No DNA submitted to CODIS involving the Nancy Guthrie investigation has come back with a match. Okay, according to the sheriff. So still nothing, right? But that could also mean this guy has nothing to do with this case, or the guy is just not in the system because he's never he's never been arrested, or incarcerated in any kind of way, right? Moving on. He just posted this 24 minutes ago, all right? Two men just showed up to Nancy Guthrie's house, one in a pickup truck, one in a Subaru. One man had a briefcase, and they just went to the back of the house. Cops let them through. So I'm assuming that they're out there to get more DNA, maybe more samples of DNA, something of that sort. But, like I said, shoot, the way things are moving right now, anything's bloody possible. Anything's possible. I didn't mean to do that. I meant that.
Major update in the search for Nancy Guthrie. The Pima County Sheriff's Office saying the DNA on that glove, which was found about 2 miles from Nancy's home, does not match any DNA in the FBI's database. Senior national correspondent Brian Inton is live again outside of Nancy's Tucson area home there. Brian, it would appear that this is a big setback for investigators.
Yeah, this is not the news that we were hoping for, Nicole. We just got this update from the Pima County Sheriff, and he is saying that the DNA that was tested from the glove that was located 2 miles away from here, and really all DNA that they have tested so far with this case, has not come back with a match in the CODIS database. And CODIS is, of course, the FBI database that has an enormous amount of DNA in it, mostly connected to known criminals. And the hope was perhaps something would come back with a match. But again, just getting word from the sheriff, no match when it comes to the DNA on the glove. And they say no matches when it comes to any of the evidence in this investigation. There's a few other, I just want to look through this because we just got this new information from the sheriff. I want to go through a few other new things, Nicole. In terms of Nancy Guthrie's pacemaker, the sheriff says that they are attempting to locate the device and are working with the manufacturer and other experts in the field to assist. Remember, we've been talking about the signal sniffer that they're using to listen for essentially pings from Nancy's pacemaker. Also, they say that investigators are working with Walmart management to identify and isolate the individual who purchased the backpack. Remember, we know the backpack came from Walmart. DNA, they said, again, goes back to they're still analyzing some DNA, but so far no matches with CODIS. This is interesting. And remember yesterday, Nicole, the sheriff put out a statement very clearly saying that everyone in the Guthrie family has been cleared. They included a new line about this in their latest update saying, in criminal investigations, evidence is examined to either build a case or clear individuals. At this point in the investigation, the Guthrie family, including siblings and spouses, has not been identified as suspects. What's interesting here is I think the statement's a little different than yesterday because today they're saying at this point in the investigation, and then they say.
Interesting, don't you think? At this point in this investigation, hold on. Let's hear that one more time.
Very clearly saying that everyone in the Guthrie family has been cleared. They included a new line about this in their latest update saying, in criminal investigations, evidence is examined to either build a case or clear individuals. At this point in the investigation, the Guthrie family, including siblings and spouses, has not been identified as suspects. What's interesting here is I think the statement's a little different than yesterday because today they're saying at this point in the investigation. And then they say investigators are still processing evidence from 2 search warrants executed last week. Remember, we went to the one in Rio Rico near Mexico, and then we went to the one a couple miles from here. They say that the individuals who were questioned have been released, that no arrests have been made. As the investigation continues, you can expect to see similar activity. But what I'm zeroing in on here is investigators are still processing evidence from the search warrants, which I think is important, Nicole, because that's also what I'm hearing from my sources, that while no arrests were made, at least the second search was a federal search warrant where they gathered a lot of information and evidence. So they're still going over all of that. So it seems they're being careful to say, look, even though there were no arrests, this could still be significant, Nicole.
Yeah, and now with that somewhat of a clarification possibly from Sheriff Nanos there on clearing the family. And I just want to clarify, Brian, that clearance is coming from the Sheriff's Department. We still haven't really heard anything from the FBI.
That's right. That only came from the sheriff, and it was a very detailed statement and a sort of emotional, passionate statement where the sheriff said that they were cleared and that, it was basically just awful, people who were running this family through the mud with everything that they're going through. And again, today, a similar sentiment, but the part that I zeroed in on just was that it said at this point in the investigation, the Guthrie family has not been identified as suspects, where I don't think that at this point in the investigation, I need to go back and look, but I don't believe that that was included in yesterday's statement.
Interesting, right? They just changed it. Sorry. That makes no sense. At first, it's like, they've been cleared. They have been cleared. You want to know why he changed that? Because there's another clip circulating around where he did an interview just like at least a week ago, where he's like, they've been like, he just basically said they're not cleared. He didn't say that he didn't confirm or deny whether or not that they were cleared. All he said was they've been very cooperative. They're victims here. They're very much like they're grieving. They're going through a very tough time right now. And the interviewer, the news reporter, was like, so you can't tell us whether or not they're cleared or not. Okay. And he's like, I'm not saying that, but I'm not confirming that. I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that they're going through some hard times. But then we only find out from other information that was said was that they were cleared days after, literally merely days after she went missing. So again, how he's playing and messing with the minds of the public in the court of public opinion is not making the situation any better, right? It's not. So now he's backtracking again. Remember? She was snatched from her own bed. She was? No, that's a turn of phrase. No. What I meant is it was a turn of phrase, right? Oh, forced entry. They kicked in the front door. Really? No. Where did you get that info from? Who the hell told you that info? Didn't come from us, when it actually came from his mother-loving mouth. So again, it's like, how could we really take him seriously when he keeps backtracking and changing things? It's hard to trust this guy as a source when he's constantly changing things over and over and over again. Now he just backtracked again. At this time, in this moment of this investigation, they have been cleared. At this moment. What? So he keeps talking wild, and I think that's one of the other reasons, Copper. I think that's one of the main reasons why he is not doing press conferences, because he keeps talking wild. He keeps talking out the side of his face, out the side of his neck, right? And we are taking it as scripture because he's the sheriff. And then he comes back and because he sees the internet going crazy about certain pieces of information and blah, blah, blah. And then he'll walk it all the way back. And that's exactly what he's doing right now. As soon as he said they've been cleared, and then the next day he said something about they've been cleared for the last 3 days after 3 days after she was announced missing in the first place. And now everybody's going back and showing receipts. Now he's sitting here saying, oh, yeah, no. In this juncture, okay, in this moment right now, in this investigation, they've been cleared. But things are subject to change if ish hits the fan. It's like, stop, bro. Just stop. Don't say anything then. Don't say anything. With all due respect, don't say anything then.
And I know I ask you this every day, Brian, but as of right now, there is no scheduled press conference, no update, no
Zero.
mass update for the media.
No, and they made that clear also. Currently, no press briefings. It seems like they don't really have any good news at this point. I mean, we were all sort of waiting for this possible CODIS match with the glove. And we knew that they found the DNA inside the house, which to me was even more significant, Nicole. They found a stranger's DNA inside Nancy's house that didn't connect back to Nancy or her friends or family. So that's what I was hoping for, that was going to come back to someone. But at this point, no matches. I will say, though, they are likely already starting the investigative genetic genealogy, which is something totally different. It's what they used in Koberger, which takes time. So we're not going to hear about that probably for.
Thank you for watching.
I heard the pop, but I didn't get it. I didn't get it in time. But yeah, guys, this Cuomo jump scare. But here's the thing, guys. I mean, it's just this is very frustrating. Okay. This is very frustrating and not helpful at all. And we're constantly, we're seeing, not us, but we're seeing them continue to run in circles. Not even just physically, but we're also hearing it verbally as well. We're hearing it from the guy who's spearheading the entire investigation, which is the sheriff. He is constantly spitting in circles and saying things that he finds himself having to run and try to change the story or change what he said. And that's exactly what we're seeing here now. And then, here's the other thing, guys. I don't know anything about no niece. I know there's been a crazy theory that's been running around about possibly, and we talked about it last night, but I'm going to say it again. Like, I don't know if there's a cousin 3 times removed or something like that. I don't know. Okay. I don't know if there's connected to the guy who was driving the Range Rover or not. I don't know anything about that. All I know is that there's a lot of people with a lot of crazy theories that are running amok like crazy. And there's no proof behind any of those theories from what I've seen so far. It's compelling. I will say that. But it doesn't automatically mean that that's the actual situation. Here's the other thing, too. I get concerned, and I'm not sitting here saying that I don't trust the feds at all. Okay, let me make that abundantly clear. But I also am curious about how they're going to handle this DNA now that they have the glove in their possession. Because I know a lot of people are going to side-eye that situation because it got cleared. Nothing was found in the database when it was ran out in Florida. Now it's going to be sent out to Arizona for them to retest the glove again. Are we really going to find something brand new off of something that's already been thoroughly checked? And if they do find something, how real is that discovery going to be? You see that whoever gets caught, and if they get caught from this glove, their lawyer could literally say, wait a second, they ran it over there, which is very thorough, in Florida. Then they move it out here and they suddenly find my client's DNA on the glove. You see what I'm saying? There's just a recipe for disaster, or it's become so messy with everything. I get concerned. Like I said before, you had a house crime scene that was a crime scene for about 3 days, and then it got released to the family. People could have gone in and out of that house, dropped some DNA on the floor. Anything's possible. I'm sorry, but that crime scene is contaminated, and it was open to the public, or open to the family for days. It wasn't like it was just for a few hours and they said, whoa, what are we doing? We got no, stitch this up and close it up again. No, it was open for days. Family could have walked in and out of that place, dropped any type of DNA that they wanted of somebody else. Shoot, law enforcement could have done the same doggone thing too. Yes. Even Brian Enton, I'm not trying to throw shade on Brian Enton. He was doing his job. They opened it up to the public, so he did what he did, right? But he's not the only reporter that walked up as well. So again, that place turned into a damn museum. Okay? It's like a true crime museum. People were walking through, traipsing through that area. Like I said, how do we know for sure that DNA that's found inside the house is actually DNA of the actual culprit, of the actual assailant that took Nancy Guthrie? Like I said, there's just so many holes that whoever gets caught, their lawyer, their defense team is going to have a field day with this, unless it's like smoking gun evidence. Can't question it, can't even question it. This is the dude. Or he confesses and he said, yeah, I did it. I'm sorry. I did it. I wanted the money. You're right. I wanted the money. You know what I mean? Well, we'll see about that. Let me get some of these super chats here really quick. Happy Days, thank you so much. I think they already know who did it. They're just trying to make this case as tight as possible. I mean, I feel like that they already know who did it. Why aren't they going and getting Nancy Guthrie already then? You see what I'm saying? I see what you're saying. I see it. But you also got somebody's life hanging at the balance. If she is still alive, that is, right? The glove was some unrealistic, wishful thinking. I think so too. Let's get stupid. Thank you, Pascal. Don't come for me. Uh-oh. This is just a wild theory I had. What if the sheriff had some kind of secret involvement with Guthrie, and that's why things fell off? I'm not saying it's a fact. You rock. Well, thank you. First off, thank you. And then also, what? Instantly, I wonder how old the sheriff is. But I mean, you know, they old, like they grown. So at that point, it's not, it really is age ain't nothing but a number. You know what I mean? But at the same time, how old is he? Right? Like, you know what I mean? So that's interesting. But here's the other thing. And no, I'm not coming for you. You know what I mean? Like every theory is not wrong, except if you're saying like aliens, man, you know. The only other thing I could think of is, I mean, I don't think the sheriff has anything to do with anything. I did think that maybe she had some sort of relationship with somebody and maybe that turned sour or something of that sort. I don't know. Right. But yeah, they owe. I'm not trying to be mean. She's 84. He's clearly not in his 40s, at least. You know what I mean? He old too. You know, so maybe age, the numbers become blurry. Maybe after that, but that I don't know. Entertaining that theory would be interesting. Be interesting. But I can see why some people are side eyeing the sheriff now. At this point, I could see it. Okay. Yet, I mean, they are old. I don't know how old the sheriff is, but he old. He old. His hair is all white. You know what I mean? There ain't no salt and peppers in that at all. Okay. He has seen things. So let's move on. Vaughn, thank you so much. Is it true her niece was brought in? So this is the thing. I don't know if that's true or not. And then it's like, I don't know, her great niece or her I don't know, the whole niece thing. It's a great niece or something crazy like that. I have no idea. But at the same time, this could also be a family thing. Yeah, this could be an extended family situation. But the sheriff has said every family member, for the most part, has been cleared. So God only knows. But there's this crazy, I'm not going to say it's crazy, but there's a theory that's being put out there where the guy who is actually driving the Range Rover might be in a relationship with a niece or a relative of the Guthrie family, and maybe there's a connection that way. But I don't see any proof of that. I have yet to see any proof of that. Okay? Still. Heart Warrior, thank you so much for the love. Brian Enson's interview with the union president told me everything I need to know about this joke of a sheriff. Yes, I've seen it. We've all seen it. It's very interesting, don't you think? Yeah, they're all sitting there going, he's got a big ego. Got a big ego, big time. Is this all about that? You know? We'll see. Mimi, thank you so much for the love. I appreciate the super sticker. Rachel, thank you. Why wouldn't they not process the DNA from inside the house first? That's what I'd like to know too. If that's the case, if they haven't processed the DNA, because for me, I think that's the most important DNA to look at. Like, sure, that DNA on the glove matches a male, blah, 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 and it matches the glove that the guy was wearing. You see what I'm saying? Like, I get all that, right? That's important too. But the one that's most important is the mother-loving droplets or whatever kind of DNA that they found inside that house that has nothing to do with the family, that is not connected to anybody except for the assailant, the possible assailant. They should be running the hell out of that. We should be waiting at bated breath on those results, not the gloves, because the gloves are a shot in the dark. You see what I'm saying? So we'll see. It's weird. Everything's ass backwards, y'all. Whimsical chaos. Thank you so much for being a member for the past 7 months. I appreciate it. has to be has to be run into Arizona before feds can put in CODIS. Yeah. Well, actually, put in CODIS again by the feds. Again. Interesting, right? Lisa, thank you so much. Could emails sent to TMZ be the guy in the video? Lisa, that's a strong possibility. I feel in my bones that that's a strong possibility, but we'll have to see what comes of that, right? Chad, thank you so much for the love. Does the sheriff think everyone is dumb? You know what? I think that he's tired of the media, but I think he likes it though too at the same time. I don't know. I think he's too concerned about what people are saying on the internet than he is actually about figuring out this case. I just think it's bizarre. There's things that they'll put out a statement, and then instead of him being more focused on getting the results of like a search or something like that, he'll be up there going, well, what you guys are saying in the internet is wrong. And it's like, well, wait a second. If you want to clarify that, do a press conference. Call it a day. Get us all to congregate in one area and drop it like it's hot in a press conference. Drop all the knowledge bombs and all the curveballs and debunk and confirm everything right then and there. But he's not doing that. So, of course, Idle Minds is the conspiracy theorist plaything, and everyone's going amok right now, right? And thank you so much for the love. If family has been cleared, they should release Nancy's return nest from. Yeah, you're right. That's a good point. They should release the footage of her returning from dinner with Annie and Tommaso. Shots fired. You ain't wrong with that. It's like, okay, if she really was dropped off, garage opens, she was dropped off right then and there, show us the footage. You got this way of getting the Ring camera, the doorbell camera. Why can't you get the cameras from all throughout the house? In fact, that's why I keep on saying, why aren't they saying, hey, here's the footage of when the man enters the house and when he leaves the house? And I get it. Maybe some things are too graphic to show out of respect to the family and everything. But at the same time, you'd think that they would show his entrance and his exit, or show all the way up to the point where he destroys the camera or pockets the camera or shuts it off. Whatever he does with that camera, they don't show that. They show him with the shrubbery in his hands, and then and that cuts out. And that's it. Where's everything else? Because here's the thing. There was 40-something minutes that he was in that house, or around, inside, outside, whatever he was with that house, right? And the theory was maybe he took off the camera, the Ring camera, or the doorbell camera to see if law enforcement was going to show up. That's not the case at all from what we've seen. He walks right up and he takes it off. Or he walks right up and he's trying to mess with it. That's all we see. There's still a possibility that he's trying to mess with it, and then maybe she answers the door, and then all hell breaks loose. And then he drags her out to the car, right? And then comes back and grabs the camera off the front door. But we don't see any of that. There's still 41 minutes. So what happened during that entire 41-minute moment, which is a very big moment? They don't show us that. Why aren't they? I find that weird. But actually, what's Ann saying right here? Number one with a bullet. Why don't you show us the footage of her getting dropped off alive? Her walking through the garage, closing the garage. If you have the access, and if there was a camera pointing towards the garage or something of that sort, pointing through the garage, right? Any of that kind of thing, show it and be done. Speak now or forever hold your conspiracies. right? Mimi, thank you so much for the super sticker. And again, thank you so much for the super sticker again. I really do appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Happy days. It's basically Reno 911, but this time it's no funny. Yeah. It's no funny. It's no fun. You with the glow. No idea on the glow, cabron. No idea on the glow. Lo siento, cabron. It's crazy. This is the world that we live in right now. Mook, thank you so much for the love. Feels like the sheriff's getting paid off. Oh. If he is where, I'd love to see the proof if that's the case. I don't know. I don't know about that. I just think no Reno 911. No Reno 911. I hope not. But here's the thing. How he's maneuvering out here in these streets? Yeah. Of course people are going to side-eye that ish. Come on, guys. Come on. Do you blame people side-eyeing the sheriff at this point? I mean, I don't. I really don't. This is the other problem. How things are moving how things are being maneuvered right now with the investigation and all that. There's Nancy fatigue, guys. This is a full-on onset of Nancy fatigue, and there shouldn't be. In fact, if there were some serious developments in this case, there would be no Nancy fatigue right now. You see what I'm saying? But there's Nancy fatigue going on in full effect right now, solely because they keep dropping the ball, and we get super excited, we get super hopeful, and then they let us down again. Now, again, we don't know anything about that Range Rover. There may be a connection, but maybe there's not. But the fact that this roller coaster ride, that fatigue is setting on. Everybody's like, oh, I've seen TikToks. I'm like, damn, that is some diabolical ish. Some people just like, yeah. So why don't you just let us know when you find her, and then we'll make other videos about it. Bye. Love you. Like, that's the stuff I'm seeing on TikTok. I'm like, damn, that is insane. That is insane, y'all. That's how burnt out people are on this case, because there's no real developments. Look at look at the title down below or above wherever you're watching this show, and you tell me that's the progression. We've been talking about this for damn 17 days. 17 mother-loving days. More than half a month. Half of a month. More than half of a month we've already been talking about this, and we are still at square one. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm gonna keep on talking about it to find out what the hell happened here, but at the same time, damn. You think there's progress, and then we get two steps forward, or like something like that, 3 steps back, or a step forward and 5 steps back. It just keeps going like that over and over and over again. It's insane, guys. Oh, it's crazy. Sherry, thank you so much. A kidnapping usually wants a ransom. Yeah. So where's that? Sheriff states wasn't a burglary gone bad. Maybe it's someone wanting to devastate Savannah Guthrie's life, making her unable to return back to the show. Maybe, but I mean, here's the thing. If that is the case, I would be shocked if that was the case. I would be absolutely shocked. Like, they do this just to make her life a living hell. Why? You know what I mean? I'm not saying your theory's wrong. Anything's possible. Everything's still on the table. Everything. Even the family members, in my personal opinion, are still on the table, okay, until we see something more solid. But why would they go out of their way to make Savannah Guthrie's life a living hell? Why? They're like, just, I love her, I hate her bubbly attitude or something. I want to see her suffer. You know what I mean? Is it a political reason? Those are all questions I'd like to have answered too, right? Shelly, thank you so much for the super sticker. I really do appreciate it. At some point, we gotta find out why certain things are going the way that what the motive is, right? What is the motive here? If you just heard the sheriff himself, like we just read from that super chat, that he believes that this is not a burglary, that this was a kidnapping, that she was targeted. He really said that out loud. What is it that makes him believe that? Now, obviously, there's a lot of information that they have not disclosed to the public. It'd be nice if they did. But we'll see how he's maneuvering, how he's moving around in this particular case is just wild. And it's causing me to side eye. But do I think there's something sinister going on with the sheriff? No, I just think he's just doing things in a really wild and unprecedented way. And until I see otherwise, I'm going to hold to that for now. But that is the show. Like I said, it was going to be a shorter show today, but I will be back on a little bit later on this afternoon. I promise you guys for sure, because there's going to be new developments, I'm sure, going on this evening. So stay tuned, okay? But do me a favor. Anna, yeah, child of God. I mean, that's one of the main things that people are conspirizing about. That maybe it was the daughter and the brother, the son-in-law. I don't know. We'll see, though. So before we get going, please do me a favor, hit that like button down below. Crush it, do it and do. Hit that reaction button. If you're watching on these other platforms, make sure you hit that follow button on those platforms. That'd be greatly appreciated. Hold on, let me see this here. Could her heart rate be tracked to see around what hours her heart rate could have went up? That's actually a good question, too. That's a damn good question. And I'm sure they've done that. We'll find out for sure. But hit that follow button. Do not forget to subscribe here. Hit that notification bell. Set it to all so you know whenever I go live, whenever I upload. Okay? Hit that join button down below. Become a member. Check out my Patreon. And, of course, check out PascalMerch.com. I'll be back on in a couple hours, guys. Trust and believe. I'll be back on in a couple of hours. So I'll see you guys very, very soon. But until then, be good to yourselves. Be good to one another. This is the Pascal Show. Bye.